love, love, until I hear the breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Rita Alp, and she's a Catholic layperson who's homeschooled all her children in the Catholic tradition, and now they're all working and studying. But today we're going to be discussing Mary's latest messages from Medjugorje. Our Lady's been appearing in Medjugorje, a little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina, which is a Catholic little village and has been since June the 24th, 1981, and still is today, to give messages of peace and love and return to God to the entire world. Welcome to the program, Rita.
Thank you, Mirella. Nice to be here.
It's lovely to have you here. I'll start off by reading the recent message, the most recent message, which came on July the 2nd, 2015, and then we'll discuss it. Our Lady said on July the 2nd, 2015, "Dear children, I am calling you to spread the faith in my Son, your faith. My children, illuminated by the Holy Spirit, my apostles, transmit it to others, to those who do not believe, who do not know, who do not want to know. But for that you must pray a lot for the gift of love." But for that you must pray a lot for the gift of love, because love is the mark of true faith, and you will be apostles of my love. Love always anew revives the pain and the joy of the Eucharist. It revives the pain of the passion of my Son, by which he showed you what it means to love immeasurably. It revives the joy for having left you his body and blood to feed you with himself, and in this way to be one with you. Looking at you with tenderness, I feel immeasurable love, which strengthens me in my desire to bring you to a firm faith. Firm faith will give you joy and happiness on earth, and in the end, the encounter with my Son. This is his desire. Therefore live him, live love, live the light that always illuminates you in the Eucharist. I implore you to pray a lot for your shepherds, to pray so as to have all the more love for them, because my Son gave them to you to feed you with his body, and to lead and to teach you love. Therefore also you are to love them. But my children, love means to endure and to give, and never ever to judge. Thank you. So that's beautiful, isn't it?
Very powerful.
It's kind of breathtaking even as I'm reading it, because I'm thinking it's so perfect.
Very summed up in, says everything.
Isn't it? It's just, you can't doubt that Mary's not appearing when you hear this. This is just...
It's all words of love.
Absolutely.
For us.
And exactly what we need today. You know, it's just perfect. Well, we'll go through it sentence by sentence and just see what it speaks to us individually.
Mm-hmm.
Our Lady said, "Dear children, I'm calling you to spread the faith in my Son, your faith." So she's saying, this is something we're passionate about. This is our faith. She wants us to spread this faith. It's not something to be kept like that thing in the gospel where it says the lamp, if it's lit, it should be there for everybody to see. If you have this faith, you have to share it. You have to live it.
That's true. And like she says, especially to those who do not want to believe, who do not believe, maybe it's not their own fault. And she also stresses that to do this, though, we have to pray very, very much, because she knows how hard it is to give something to those people who do not want it.
Exactly.
So You
I'll
know?
read that sentence. She says, what does she say? You, my children, illuminated by the Holy Spirit, my apostles, transmit it to others, to those who do not believe, who do not know, who do not want to know. But for that, you must pray a lot for the gift of love, because love is the mark of true faith, and you will be apostles of my love. So she doesn't want us to just go around preaching and trying to convert people, but she wants us to pray for the gift of love. And if we have the gift of love, we can do anything.
It transfers to others, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if people feel loved, then they're more likely to believe what you say.
Yeah,
if
and
they feel you preaching at them, they're not going
and
to
they
believe.
do the right thing, isn't it? If you have love, you're not going to do the wrong thing with others, because you're going to do what's best for them, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just, you can see the mother's heart
Yeah.
speaking here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And the next sentence she says, love always anew revives the pain and the joy of the Eucharist. It revives the pain of the passion of my Son, by which he showed you what it means to love immeasurably. I'll just stop there, because that's quite in depth. The power of the Eucharist she's talking about, it revives everything in us. It revives us to realise the pain and the joy that Jesus suffered. But you talk to me a little bit about your understanding of the Eucharist.
This is, like she said, the pain which he suffered during his passion, and that's his love for us, for believers, non-believers, whatever. He did it out of love. He didn't think how much he was going to suffer and the pain he was going to go through. But he did it anyway, because he loved immeasurably, like she said.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, and later on we know that she mentioned the shepherds now, and she asked us to pray for them a lot, because without them we're not going to have Jesus.
Exactly.
We're not going to have the Holy Eucharist, because they are the one who consecrated at the Mass, and they're the ones who leave it for us, like when we have perpetual adoration, for instance.
Exactly.
Or a holy hour here and there.
Yeah.
It's the priest who have that consecrated host that he lays Jesus or exposes Jesus for us, and that means also that Jesus is willing himself just to be exposed, just for us to be like a one-to-one, you know, or that he's one-to-one with us.
Beautiful. Well, we're about to go to a break, but we'll continue with this.
Yes.
You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.
Love, love, oh dear, I hear but breath of the Spirit flowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Rita Alp and we're discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from Medjugorje, the most recent one on July the 2nd, 2015. And you can also look it up on the internet as well, so you get a copy at home. And we're halfway through the message. Our Lady goes on to say, after, it revives the joy for having left you his body and blood to feed you with himself, and in this way to be one with you. So Our Lady's talking about the power of the Eucharist, how powerful it is that he's left it so Jesus is living in us, that we can literally have Jesus in us and see Jesus in others.
And with us, because he exposes himself through the priest on the altar. That's for us to go there, have a little chat in our hearts with him, or adore him, whatever we have in our hearts to pour out to him. So he gives himself literally a God who comes down for us, and we have him there. That's his love. That's his immeasurable love. I don't think there's any religion that does that except ours, really. And
can you talk about the importance of perpetual adoration?
Oh, it is a very, very blessed gift that I know one of the parishes have got a perpetual adoration in Deer Park, and many, many, many graces have been received, and also like miracles of conversion. of at least 2 young women whose mother was doing a holy hour, like at the early hours of the morning, just for their conversion. And they gave the testimony a couple of years ago, and the girl said that if it wasn't for her mother and her father who did that holy hour at such an unsociable time, I don't think she would be back to God. And another fellow who told me that he was praying for his brother who had cancer, and he was so upset about him because he loved his brother that he prayed every week at about 2 o'clock in the morning that his brother got cured. So he was over the moon.
I remember when I went to Medjugorje, the little village in Bosnia-Herzegovina,
Yes.
where Our Lady gives these messages. The church there, St. James Church, when they hold the exposition of the Eucharist, and they show it to, the priest goes down the aisle and shows it to everybody, so everyone, you know, does the sign of the cross when they see the Eucharist. But if you look at the faces of the people, there is the faith you can touch.
Yes.
You know, it's so strong, the faith and the honour in which they look at the Eucharist.
Yes.
Genuine respect and love that they show, and reverence that they show. It's breathtaking, literally.
It's almost like they're feeling complete peace, isn't it? And it shows up in their faces. It's beautiful.
And they're not embarrassed, they're not afraid to show it. They're not even thinking about that. They wouldn't even be thinking about what anyone's thinking of them. It's just pure love. It's so beautiful.
It's something very moving, because you could hear a lot of noise outside the chapel where there is the exposition of the Blessed Lord, but in the chapel it's utter silence, and it just within the heart you don't care about what's happening outside, but it's what's happening in here with the Lord, and the Lord obviously is very happy with the people, with his children who go to plead with him, whatever the reason may be. But he wants us back. That's his reason for being, come to me. I love you.
And also the other thing is, there is that kind of rule as well. Well, not kind of rule, but there is that rule in the church. Before you receive Jesus, you make sure that you've gone to confession, that you haven't got any really bad sins on you, because you need to be of a pure heart to receive Jesus.
To be in the state of grace. That is very important for our own sake too, because we don't want to have damnation if we receive Jesus with a mortal sin or sacrilege, or you know, we're only making it worse for us. So Jesus, again, for our own sake, he tells us, you know, I gave you the priest, and that's the importance of our shepherds and how we should pray for them, because as I said, if they go, we have no Jesus.
Exactly, and how can the church keep continuing if we don't have priests? We need priests. The next sentence is, it's a beautiful one here. Looking at you with tenderness, I feel immeasurable love, which strengthens me in my desire to bring you to a firm faith.
Yes.
I'll just stop there. So looking at you with tenderness, I feel immeasurable love, which strengthens me in my desire to bring you to a firm faith. So she loves us. She looks at us with love. She just wants us to have faith,
typical
a
mother.
strong, firm faith. Yeah, like what a mother does with her child.
She just does not want us to miss out on heaven, basically, isn't it? And
all the goodness,
all the goodness, all the love that Jesus has for us and herself too. You know, she's got a lot of love for us. And then
the next sentence she says, firm faith will give you joy and happiness on earth, and in the end the encounter with my Son. So she's saying, like she's saying it for a reason. If we have firm faith, we'll have joy and happiness on earth. So if we're not feeling joy and happiness on earth, we have to ask ourselves, well, do we have firm faith?
That's
the clue.
She seems to
spelt it out.
she seems to be stressing on the firm faith, because I think it's very important, isn't it? And I feel sometimes I have to pray to keep my faith strong, because there are so many things that might give you doubt sometimes. But if we pray for that firm, or for our faith to remain firm,
We're in the supernatural. When we have a firm faith, a strong faith, nothing can touch us, nothing can affect us. We're on a different plane.
It's like you have to have a, what do you call it? Blind faith.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, and God knows the faith that we've got. He knows when we're really trusting Him. He knows, so He'll help us.
Yes,
we have to trust.
And that's very important. I can see why she is telling us to have this firm faith, because once we start lacking in it, I think then we're on a slippery slope.
Exactly.
Aren't we?
And Vitska, one of the visionaries from Medjugorje, said, "Keep praying, because when you stop, you'll notice things do go downhill. So just keep diligent with it. Keep going with it.
Just plod along, I think.
And you'll find things even good." Anyway, we'll have to go to a break now.
Yes.
You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Rita Alp, who is a Catholic layperson who's homeschooled her children in the Catholic system at home, and they've turned out wonderful. They're all at university or married with children or studying or working. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Mirella.
And we're discussing Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from Medjugorje, where Our Lady's been appearing since June the 24th, 1981, and still is today. And we're talking about the latest message, July the 2nd, 2015. We'll just continue with it. Our Lady says, I'll read it again, the sentence we just missed. Firm faith will give you joy and happiness on earth, and in the end, the encounter with my Son. This is His desire. So she's saying this is His desire. Therefore, live Him, live love, live the light that always illuminates you in the Eucharist. So here she's saying, this is His desire. He wants this for us. He wants us to live love, live His life, live Him, and let the light shine through on us.
That's exactly right. And I think if we don't look at Jesus, sometimes we get distracted. Once we get distracted, we can't focus on Him anymore, and we find that we start losing it a bit, So that's why Our Lady keeps asking us to live that light, basically follow that light, because I think once we start to wander a bit, we can't help others, I don't think. So if we stand firm with our love in Christ and keep focused on Him, then I think we will be able to be of help to others.
Exactly, and it's not like it's a loud boom, His voice telling you something. It's quiet, like that someone was saying to me, Jesus is a gentleman, God is a gentleman. He's not going to push and enforce anything onto you. So we need to quieten ourselves down to be able to hear His voice in our heart.
Exactly.
His guidance.
Exactly, and it will be a gentle, but I think you'd know that it's Jesus, I guess.
It's always about love.
Yes, because He loves us.
If you're hearing something different, it's not Jesus.
No.
Jesus, God is love. It's
love.
telling you to love.
I mean,
love.
What else could possibly He has done for us that He hasn't done? It's
He gave His life out of love.
Everything.
The only reason He died was out of love for us.
He had a horrible death, passion. And who would do it? Only God, I think.
And it's amazing too, because when He's dying there, they're whipping Him and hurting Him, and He's saying to God, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do."
And I say they knew what they were doing, but He says, "Forgive them."
I guess He's saying it because they don't understand. They don't understand they don't understand love and peace.
That's right.
If they understood love and peace, they would never be hurting Him.
But
same with us. Anyone on earth. If you understand love and peace, you wouldn't hurt another person.
That's true.
You wouldn't hurt a fly.
No. But I think we lack love, isn't it? Most of the times, I think.
That's why we all have to pray. We have to pray. Like Mary even says, pray 3 hours a day. And people complain. They say, not everyone. Some people say it's too much, whatever. And but if you pray 3 hours a day, find 3 hours in the day to pray, like maybe half an hour here, 5 minutes there, 10 minutes, and then add it up, you'll have peace. There's no way you won't have peace.
Yes, and also maybe also sometimes try to make our work as a prayer.
Exactly.
If we
offer it up.
the work that we do, no matter what it is during the day, even if it's helping others, if that's done for the honor and glory of God and for the salvation of souls, well, that's a prayer in itself, I think. If you can't sort of go and kneel down and pray, but
and if you try and see God in your neighbour as well, it's almost like you're continuing your prayer with God because you're talking to Him through your neighbour.
Yes.
So He's still communicating with you if you're doing it in that spirit.
Yes, and that's, like when we help the sick. If you can't pray, but there's somebody who needs your help because they're sick and you can't help them, well, that's a prayer because you're helping or seeing the face of Jesus in that sick person.
Exactly.
So, but
it requires works, acts of love as well.
And acts of love, yeah.
But I think when you pray, you do love more because you're inspired more.
Oh, yeah.
You've got love in your heart.
You've got that time, one-on-one with God, which is lovely.
Yeah.
If one can spare that time. Yeah.
And Our Lady says, I implore you to pray a lot for your shepherds, to pray so as to have all the more love for them, because my Son gave them to you, to feed you with his body, and to teach you love. Therefore also you are to love them. But my children, love means to endure and to give and never, ever to judge. Thank you.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's so beautiful because sometimes you can catch yourself saying something. Oh, that priest. Oh, whatever. Maybe he's a bit posh or he's a bit what's the word? Thinks he's a bit better than everyone else. Seems to come across that way. And I remember once I was thinking that, and I was in the church, and I was thinking, oh, he sounds like he thinks he's pray for the poor and be good to those, there's poor people out there, and and I thought, oh gosh, how's anyone going to be affected by that? I found myself thinking that. I was thinking, how's he going to help people if he speaks like that? They're not going to relate to him. And then I remembered this message, never ever judge. And I was thinking, okay, I won't judge. And in that moment when I just remembered this message, I thought, no, don't judge him. He's coming across humanly to me like that, but I'm going to see God in him. And so I started looking at him differently. I thought, no, I'm going to look at him as God, not as this pompous person. I'm going to look at God in him. And I am not joking. His whole words, all the words he said changed after that. He ended up saying to the congregation, and now you can all go out and have compassion for everybody.
Wonderful.
Look how many wonderful people we have here. We can all make a difference in the world. And he came down to the level of all the people.
An immediate change.
It was amazing.
Lovely.
And that's it. If we open our heart to God and Mary and live her messages, they're supernatural.
That's
they do the work
all
through
you
us.
have to
We
do
don't
is
deserve
just
it.
pray and
Be the vessel.
be the vessel.
Yeah.
That's it.
That was just a prayer. That was just a prayer and a thought to live it. Really try not to judge because that my answer was given to me immediately. I had a little human judgment and then I took the human judgment away and I thought, no, I'm going to see God in that person because I know that's always the answer to having good relations with people, see God in them.
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything to him. He was so nice to me too after as well.
But that's why then God worked instantaneously with you because you took it back. You took that back.
Yeah.
The judgment back. You acknowledged it. You were sorry that you didn't want to do it, and there's the change.
So we can all do that. We have to go now, but will you come again next week?
Yes, I would love to. Thank you, Mirella.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You've been watching Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Rita Alp, and we'll see you again next week.
Bring it to birth and blow where you will. Blow